Hello, hello. Good evening. Tonight I am doing another one of my YouTube channels. YouTube videos for my channel. It's been quite a while since I did one. I need to get back into them. In fact, the only reason why I'm doing it tonight is because I know it's the last opportunity I have before my mum comes back from her holiday. Really, I should have done it a lot earlier. But then again, with these videos, I do reviews and stuff, so I've always got to think about what I want to do, why I'm doing it, because obviously, I have a lot of passion for these type of things, and I've actually got a couple of ideas for my next videos, but I'll get into that at the end. So, for this video tonight, I'm actually doing it based on one of my favourite TV shows. Unfortunately, it's no longer around. It started in 2009, and from what I'm aware, it finished in 2016, which actually sounds about right. So, well, basically, this show is all about singing, dancing, competitions, and friendship, love, which is a weakness of mine. What a shame. One day. Something on my bed there. So, tonight, and I have got a title for it. So, tonight, the title is Feel the Glee. So, I am doing my video tonight on the TV show Glee. So, well, I love it. I started watching it in 2010. I know I said it came out in 2009, which it did, but I came into it about a couple of months after. Or maybe it was 2009 I started watching it, because I was aware that the show was out. In fact, the reason why I kind of started watching it was because I knew about the song Don't Stop Believing. I knew that song was in it, and it obviously gave me a little bit of, well, I would say inspiration, because I actually did Don't Stop Believing in 2010 in primary school with a group. So that was quite cool, actually. So really, I always want to hear the the different version of Don't Stop Believing, because obviously it was performed on Glee in early 2009 or late 2009, because I know they started it a bit later, but then again, when they did the first episode, it was just a pilot, so who knows what would have went along with it. So the show had 6 seasons in total, which I think was pretty good. I enjoyed all of the seasons. Some of them were a little bit more excitable than others, because that's a thing, you see. If you're watching a certain series, hell, it could be like let's say Game of Thrones, for example. There was 8 seasons of that. There could be one that you prefer more than the other, or Big Bang Theory, 12 of them, and you may find that some of them were a lot more better than others. Say, for instance, I quite like series 10 of Big Bang Theory. Game of Thrones, I would say, probably season 7, actually. But we're not talking about those, but then again, they are used as good examples. Some are better than others. But I will also get into that later on in the video. So, now, what do I love about Glee? Well, that's easy. The singing, the songs, the competitions. I love it all. Like, believe me, with Glee, I've had emotional bits with it. Like, I have found it proper emotional at times. I've had a laugh to it. I've cried to it, which is obviously going to happen, because there are some sad bits in it. There really is, especially one episode in season 5. Yeah, but believe it or not, right? And this may or may not come as a shock, but most of the songs that I actually know were because of Glee. Like, some songs from certain artists who I wouldn't have listened to. Obviously I know the artists, but I don't know their songs. Or rather, you know the songs, but you don't know the artists. But then again, when you actually do listen to the songs that Glee covers, you find that, well, really, that's the thing. They could actually be the ones that get you to listen to those certain groups or solo artists. I mean, take the Beatles for example. Now, in season 5, in episodes 1 and 2, they did 2 episodes completely dedicated to the Beatles. Now, I already knew the Beatles. Like, there is not one person in this world who probably does not know who the Beatles are. They are fantastic. John, Paul, George, and Ringo. But I got a better, let's say, inspiration for the Beatles. There was a lot more songs that I hadn't heard before. Some of them I knew about, some of them I didn't. But yeah, it was really good to have those covers. I mean, hell, they've had a lot of covers. They've done Katy Perry, Rihanna, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars. They did a Billy Joel episode. That was pretty good actually. That was one of my favorites. Michael Jackson. That was really good. They did some musical stuff because they did a version of Rocky Horror, which was pretty awesome. West Side Story, Grease. Big ups on Grease. Big ups! Love it! Now, those ones I already knew, so I'll get into that later, though. That was brilliant. But you see, that's the thing. Most songs that I hadn't heard before, I've gotten into those songs and then, therefore, had, well, admiration for other artists. That's the word I can use. Admiration. Now, I was going to say respect, but then it literally just came to me. Admiration for the artists, because you love their music, you love them, and just watching Glee reminds you of that. That's what I feel. It's like Don't Stop Believing, for instance. I hadn't heard many Journey songs, but then after I heard it on Glee as well as performing it myself, I listened to more Journey. So yeah, it just shows. It really does show that you get a lot more admiration from the artists and the bands as well. So yeah, that's what I love about the show. Like, I've got to say, the competitions as well. I love those. Just like fighting for your place to move on ahead, like regionals, no, not sectionals, regionals, and nationals. The competitions are fantastic. Like, yeah, I just love some of the songs that they did, especially like, what did they do? You Can't Always Get What You Want, Loser Like Me, Raise Your Glass, won the Warblers. That was the Warblers. Live While We're Young again. They did Gangnam Style, from what I remember in season 4. That was fun. More Than a Feeling, and yeah, there was just many songs performed at the competitions, and again, you get the admiration for the artists. It kind of actually goes back onto an old video I did, like inspiration of artists. It kind of goes back onto that because from watching Glee over the years, well, you just start to love them, don't you? You start to love the artists who perform the songs as well as those who perform them on Glee. Like, some of them could be better than the original, which I found some are. Some of them are pretty better than the original, but I won't say which ones, just in case. I don't want to offend anyone. But as always, with your TV shows, you've got a cast, and yeah, you've got to have your favourite characters, haven't you? Obviously, my first favourite character was Finn Hudson, played by Corey Monteith, who unfortunately passed away in 2013. That was pretty upsetting. I remember that. I remember they did an episode tribute to him in season 5 that really got me. I was crying all the way through the episode. I'm not ashamed to admit that because I did. You know, it was a really emotional episode. Hell, I still cry to it now because, yeah, he was a great character and had a really big impact on the Glee cast and just showing where he had to, like, where they left off. It's probably why they cancelled the show actually after 6 seasons because they wouldn't have been able to continue. But no, I loved Finn. Like, he was my favorite character because, well, basically it was the emotion of his character. You know, he went from this big star football player, like American football, and he joined this Glee club, and the next thing you know, he lets his heart out to it. You know, he's singing, he's dancing, not perfectly or successfully, but obviously he makes a really big impact on the school, and he's just an incredible character. Not only that though, but some of the songs he performed were fantastic. Like, I love listening to them. Another favourite character of mine was Rachel Berry. Now, she was very annoying at the beginning. I don't think I actually properly got used to her until, like, I don't know, halfway through season 2 or season 3 when she was less annoying and stuff. I have got no idea what it was. She was a bit of an annoying character at the beginning. Kurt as well. You know, he was the open, like, gay dude, and he was really incredible. You know, he went through a lot in the second season. You really see him coming out on his own, and you just see the development in the characters, and that's actually a thing. You see a development in all of the characters, not just one. You see the biggest impacts in some of them. Like, it's kind of like with us. You know, we get older, we change, we become completely different people, or we grow up, we get different, but we mature along the way. Another one, Mercedes. I mean, her voice. What? Her voice could literally. I mean, praise be Mercedes. Her voice could literally go through you, and you could just not stop listening to her because she is the voice of an angel. She is beautiful voice. Her vocals. I mean, some of them just like Somebody to Love. The last vocal in that, you just. Wow. I mean, she was probably even better than Rachel. Like, let's think about it. Rachel versus Mercedes. You know what? If I could actually do a poll on here. You know what? At the end of this video, do a poll. Rachel versus Mercedes. Who is the true Queen Diva of the Glee Club? I want to see what happens here. I really, really do. The next one is Santana. Now, Santana, same with Rachel, I got more admiration for Santana in season 3. You know, she was like the queen bitch of Glee Club, as well as being in the Cheerios. She was like the queen bee, and yeah, you know what? I preferred her a lot in the 3rd season because she was more mature. She was more open with everyone, and she didn't really. I just couldn't really deal with what she was doing in seasons 1 and 2. She was way too. Yeah, it was just the character. I wasn't really keen on her then. So, season 3, loved her, and then every other season I was just really happy that she was in there. And bless Naya as well for unfortunately passing away. That was also upsetting. So, yeah. The next one would have been Sam Evans. Yeah, he was great in the beginning, like when he first came into season 2. And then obviously you see him becoming more of a main character in season 3 and then season 4, because you see him as a senior in high school, and you see he really comes out on his own. Hair's a bit sodded up there. Other characters, I won't go into details about them, but like you've got Artie, Puck, Blaine, Mike Chang, Tina, um, Kitty, Ryder, Marley, Jake, Unique, and yeah, I can't really say much for the newer ones in season 6 because obviously you didn't have more time with them than what you did with the other cast members. Oh, and Will and Sue as well. Will and Sue, Coach Beast, and Emma. They were all pretty good. I loved them. They were pretty funny. Oh, and obviously I can't forget Figgins, Professor Principal Figgins. I can't forget him either. Let's see what I've got on my notes here. So, just obviously because I've got to keep my notes. So, obviously, all those are my favourite characters. Yeah, I love all of the character developments. They are all fantastic. They really are. And now, for my favourite seasons in order. Now, you see, I've always got to put this in there. I've always got to put in the order because you never know. Well, it's what you've got, isn't it? So, my first one, it's season 3. Now, the reason why I'm saying season 3 is because all of the character development, that's literally it. Every single character in that season developed. Not only that, though, but you had, excuse me, you had about 3 new members coming into the Glee Club. And, that season, you could really see that they were like the big, massive family. And that's what I love about Glee. They had that same connection as what I've felt with my college courses with the groups, because I had my performing arts group, and in that we felt like a family, which I still miss them all to this day. But that's what Glee kind of reminded me of, like a whole big type of family thing, and season 3 really came into that. And the competitions that they did that time with sectionals, regionals, and nationals, I think those were some of the best set lists they had. Like, they were just completely amazing. Like, take nationals, you had Lady Gaga's Edge of Glory, Celine Dion, It's All Coming Back to Me Now, and Jim Steinman's Paradise by the Dashboard Light. And they even won the nationals competition that year, and that made me emotional. But you definitely see everyone coming out on their own. You see them more independent, and honestly, the third season is just so great. Like, you would think that 3 seasons in, well, it just topped it. Basically, it topped it. I remember my first episode being the mash-off episode with Shelby and Will bringing together the Trouble Tones and the New Directions together, and that was a pretty good episode actually. I really enjoyed it. You heard a bit of Adele in that one, and You Make My Dreams Come True mashed up with I can't remember the other song, but it was actually a really, really good episode. My first one that I watched. I remember them doing that dodgeball competition. The second season that I've put in there for my favourites in order was season 4. Now, you see, that's the thing with straight after season 3, you just want to see exactly what happens in season 4. Now, when I got season 3, season 4 hadn't even come out yet. It was just on like Sky TV, and I didn't even have Sky, so I was lucky to watch maybe 2 or 3 episodes before I got it on DVD, because it came out in 2012. So yeah, it was really, really difficult to see what season 4 was going to be like. But you got a whole load of new cast members, and but you saw the alumni who graduated the year before, and you just seen them all coming back again. You see them all coming back from time to time, and you see all your favourite characters again. It's like after you've left college, you see your old friends and you've just got that massive smile on your face. Not only that though, but in Glee, season 4, they did Grease the musical. Now this is where I'm coming into it. So I knew they were doing a Grease episode because obviously one of the first episodes that I saw was, well, a mention of Grease. So when I first got the season, I'm like, hold on a second, they're doing Grease? Are you serious? Now, Grease is my favourite musical of all time. I love it. I was even so happy to do it myself. So when it came to the rehearsal episode of Glee, Grease Lightning came on. And what did I do? I sung and danced right along to it. I had to. Guilty. Guilty as charged. I'm sorry. Worth it. But no, as well as seeing character development in season 4 and seeing the brand new characters, it just worked. It really did. It was amazing. You see everyone going out on their own, like Rachel and Kurt in New York, for example, and then Santana joined them later on. You see Finn becoming, like, the coach of the Glee Club when Will goes away. Puck in LA. Yeah, you just see everyone, so it was pretty good. That's why I love that season. The next one I've chosen was actually season 6. So I chose season 6 because, after season 5, I wasn't really sure whether there would be a new season, but I found out there was, and yeah, it just looked amazing. You see Rachel and Kurt going back to McKinley to coach the New Directions, which was a hell of a shock. And you see Sue just literally gunning up on them, and then, the next thing you know, you've got Will coaching Vocal Adrenaline, like the Glee Club's worst enemies. You got Blaine coaching the Warblers. So obviously 3 different rival Glee clubs. It was really strange to see how this was going to work out. And then in the end, just you see the Warblers and the New Directions coming together, winning everything. Because obviously all shows, they've got to come to an end. They've got to come to the climax. And what you see in the end is just so lovely and emotional, and yeah, it was just amazing. They did the final song they ever did actually in season 6 was "I Lived" by One Republic, and you just saw all of the cast members coming together. Well, actually, apart from the girl who played Marley and the guy who played, I should say now the girl who played Myron, because obviously they transitioned, which I found out a couple of years ago. But yeah, it was a fantastic ending. I really loved it. I found it really emotional. Really did. And yeah, the new team was really good at first. You didn't see much of the character development in it like you would, but I've got to hand it to them. They had some really, really good songs. And this is where the admiration comes in for other artists, because they did Carole King, Alanis Morissette. They did some of the numbers. There was like Frozen. You had Let It Go. What was that one they did? It was. It'll come to me in a second. All Out of Love by Air Supply. They had that one, which I never heard before, and that was an emotional song. My Verona. You Give Love a Bad Name, that was one of them as well. Chandelier by Sia. That was an interesting one. And they also had Take Me to Church. Now, I'm not a religious person, but I still listened to it and it was still pretty good. But no, season 6 was amazing for the cast they had, the ending. All in all, it was just a great season to end it with. It's a shame it was only about 6 episodes or 8 episodes long. It could have gone on for longer. I wish it did. But again, I think the producer, Ryan Murphy, I think he knew it just couldn't carry on without Finn. Without his character, it just couldn't have carried on. So that was a shame. Then the next season I've put the first season. So you see them all together for the very first time. You know who they are. You get to know them. You see them at the first sectionals. You see them at regionals doing the journey covers, as I've said. You see them losing. It's more. I would say season 1 is more about competition and focusing on mashups, because that's what Glee usually was as well. It was just like mashups and competition. You don't really see much of the characters' side. You just see them like gunning for the competition, like going face to face and whatnot. But yeah, I've put season 1 at 4th place because there were just some episodes that weren't as good, and which is an unfortunate thing to say, but there were also the other seasons that were just better than ever. The next one I've actually put is season 5. Now, reason for that being, I've put it into 5th place. The reason for that is because only half of that season was good. Half. And that's, after the whole New Directions losing at Nationals, coming in 2nd place, I think that's when it slipped. After the whole graduation again for the 2nd time, that's when it slipped, from my opinion. Not only that though, but I mentioned the Beatles, so I loved the Beatles episodes. That episode, the tribute to Finn, that hit me like a ton of bricks. I was crying all the way through that episode. Like I said, I still do now. You see more of Rachel, Santana, and Kurt in New York. Yeah, you've got that. So, yeah, unfortunately, the last few episodes of season 5, it really disappointed me. It wasn't at all how I expected. So that is a shame. That's why I was a little bit on the fence about season 6. I was thinking, well, yeah, it just didn't do it for me, which is a shame. And then also for that reason is why I've got the final one in 6th place is season 2. Now, season 2, it had its good moments, but honestly, I think that season 2 was just way too dramatic. There were just some parts of it that weren't necessary, and yeah, I wasn't too convinced by some of it, which I was actually really surprised about, because I love Glee. I love Glee to hell. There are some fantastic episodes, but what I actually think I preferred more about season 2 was the songs rather than the episodes itself, because the songs were great. Like I said, they had Rocky Horror in season 2, and that was the first time I was properly hearing it, and I really got into it. I loved it. You also had the number at regionals, which was Loser Like Me. Like, every time I listen to that song, it's like, yeah, go stuff the haters. That song is fantastic. Go for it. He also had a bit of Katy Perry in there again. But yeah, the storylines, they just weren't great, which is a shame. Storylines not too great. Characters fantastic, but it was just the storylines for me. Some of them were not great, and that is a shame. But you know what? On to positive stuff now. So, Another reason why I love Glee is because, well, not just because of the characters, but because of the guest stars. Now, they had fantastic guest stars. I cannot deny that at all. Like, you had Idina Menzel, who played Shelby Cochran. You had Gwyneth Paltrow, who played Holly Holiday. There's also Pepper Potts in Marvel. I mean, when I saw that Pepper Potts was Holly Holiday from Glee, I was just like, what the hell? You had Kristen Chenoweth, and, well, obviously, she's an iconic star. She really is. I mean, she's well known for Glinda in Wicked on Broadway, as well as Idina Menzel being more famous for Elphaba on in Wicked as well, which was just incredible. You also had Jonathan Groff, who played Jesse St. James. He's more popular now these days with being, well, the star of Frozen as Kristoff. Not only that though, but he's also going into Doctor Who next year. He played the main guy in Hamilton, which I haven't seen, but sorry. Neil Patrick Harris too. He came into it. Yeah, you had some really good guest stars coming into Glee. It was absolutely incredible. Seeing those cast members, it was just yeah, it was awesome. That's what I loved as well. It was the great cast members that they had and the really big surprised names. Like, you were just thinking, wow, how did you get in there? Not only that though, but some of these characters who actually appeared in Glee, not just those who were really famous, but like those who were like part of the main cast. I mean, look at Melissa Benoist, for example. She went on to be in Supergirl. You had Grant Gustin, who played Sebastian Smythe. He went on to play in The Flash. So, there's a lot of famous faces out there. You're clearly going to recognize them in the future. You know what they've done. And yeah, it's amazing. It really is. Hell, I even saw two um two clips on TikTok from What's Your Line with Amber Riley, who played Mercedes in it, doing like a song, and Heather Morris, who played Britney as well. You know, and you've got Quinn, the girl who played Quinn, Diana Agron in like a lot of horror films, which seems to be the niche. And you've also got Leah Michelle playing that girl who was in, what was it, Scream Queens. So you've seen quite a lot of them in action. Oh, and Olivia Newton-John as well. She was a part of Glee, and Josh, what was his name? Last name. Josh Grogan. No, Groban. Josh Groban. At least I hope that was his last name. I hope it was. But yeah, you've had some really fantastic guest stars in Glee, so yeah, you cannot argue with that. So yeah, that is actually my climax for Glee. That's my Glee review. Feel the Glee, as I call it. And now, future projects. So, I want to keep on doing these videos. I love what I do, so I want to keep on doing them. So the next video I'm actually thinking of doing is, it's not a review, it is more on my list of what I want to start watching again. Well, not again, because right now I'm doing a big massive Doctor Who marathon, but this is more for the stuff that I haven't seen, but that I want to see, because there's a lot of them. So I'll get into that on the next video. And then I do have another video in mind with one of my best friends. We're going to do guest stars of Doctor Who. Because next year there's a lot of famous names going into it. So I want to dig deep on that as well. Because, well, it might get people more interested in it. I don't know. But then again, this is what we all love. We love celebrities who go into these projects. So let's try and explore that. So then, until then, this has been my Feel the Glee project. And I hope everyone enjoys this video and have a good night. See you all later.